Hi, this is a video on the Sandmarc Action Pole Metal Edition. Now this is a waterproof extension stick pole. Now this is suitable, as you can see, for your action camera. And as you can see, we got the pole here with an action camera on there, a skier on the bottom, obviously holding the pole, and it says here, as you can plainly see, Sandmarc Pole Metal Edition. Designed in California. On the back, we got the same pole again, but this time with a picture of a GoPro, with the smaller GoPro, which is absolutely the session. Sorry about that, folks. It's the session camera on there. And the same again, a couple of skiers on there. And this pole, you get also with it, not just the mounts to place the camera on there, but you also get a holder for the GoPro remote or generic remotes that are the same size as the GoPro remote. And here, it just tells you here, remote holder, clip included, fits all GoPros, Hero cameras, durable, lightweight, extends to 50 inches and retracts to 15 inches or 38 centimeters to 127 centimeters. It is an aluminium pole with a rubber grip. Now this is what you get in the box. You get the pole itself here, along with the GoPro mount here, and also Thumbscrew. And you also get the holder as well, which clips onto the pole. Now I'll take a look over the pole. We'll start from the bottom going up to the top. You get a lanyard which has got the Sandmarc logo written over it, along at the end with an adjustment clip here, simple adjustment clip which is made out of plastic. We have the handle here which is made out of a nice firm grip rubber. Now this is very similar to a mountain bike handle, very similar. So you get this nice firm textured grip with the word Sandmarc written only once on there and not all the way around. Now, just for those who ask, you cannot place tripod legs on the bottom of this pole because, as you can see, there is no 1/4 inch thread. So you can't place tripod legs on there. Next we have, coming up the pole now, which is in a matte black finish, we have the Sandmarc name again with its logo and action gear. And coming up to the top, near to the top, we have the various points where we can extend the pole, and this uses a twist action, twist lock to unlock and lock the pole in. But it's very good because it doesn't take a lot of turn at all. It's just a 1/4 of a turn which will unlock the pole, and a 1/4 of a turn clockwise to lock it back. So anti-clockwise to unlock it, clockwise to lock it back. So we get 3 of them, and these are made out of metal as well, stroke aluminium. And now we have the top, and that there is made out of solid aluminium. It is not plastic, it is all aluminium, including the thumb screws. They are made out of aluminium as well. Now, I know people are going to ask, can this be removed? This cannot be removed. So you cannot take this unit off. It is welded on there. So this is not a removable thing at all. Now, this pole is quite long. Now, because it's quite long, I have to go quite further back and take my camera quite back to get it all into frame. Now, the manufacturers state, and this is what I always don't go by, the manufacturers state that it is 50 inches long. Now, when I don't normally go by that kind of measurement, because when manufacturers give you that kind of measurement for their action poles or selfies, they measure from the very bottom to the very top for length. So I don't normally go by that. What I tend to go by is I measure from the top of the handle here. So from the top of the handle here to the bottom of the mount there. Now, it's 50 inches long from the bottom of the pole to the very top of the pole, but between these 2 points, it is 45 inches long. It is a hell of a long pole, but I have to say, even though it's 45 inches long, it is absolutely straight. There is no bend in this whatsoever. It is practically built like a tank, I could say that. And definitely if you are skiing or one of these people that love to do action sports and you need a shot that is further away from you, and you need an absolute pole that will withstand some of the tumbles or falls that you have or whatever, whether it's on a mountain bike or whether you're skiing, etc. This is the pole to have. And no, it's £50, £49.99 is a lot of money for an action pole, but this is going to last, and it's absolute light. It's lightweight. Not as light as a carbon fiber pole, but it is lightweight. Now, for extending the pole and retracting the pole, as I stated before, it has these, I would say, screw turns or locking systems here, which is 3 of them, and they are made out of metal, not plastic. And it's simple, is I would say a clockwise turn to release them. As you can see, clockwise turn and an anti-clockwise turn. An anti-clockwise turn to tighten them up, and it just works off that basis. So, but it's not much of a turn, which is quite good. So I think even when if you're holding this with gloves, it's not much of a turn that you have to do with these to lock these into place. You can carry on turning, but all that would do would loosen that off. It will kind of take this off, but it's not much of a turn that you have to do to unlock this system at all. And it is suitable with people with gloves on. I have tested this, and it is suitable with gloves on. You don't have any problems with gloves unlocking and locking this system. Now, as for the top here, as I stated before, it is an aluminium mount here, so it is not removable. I have tried. You cannot remove this. It is welded on, and obviously because it's for this action pole, and it is an action pole, they've made this out of metal so it won't damage easily. So my guess is the reason why they've done it like that is that you, obviously if this was a screw thread in there and you took a tumble, whether it's on dirt or on snow, and when you're skiing, this will have a chance of breaking or snapping off if there was a screw. This was screw mounted, so this is welded on. And as you can see, you can stick any action camera on there as long as it has this style of GoPro mounting system. Now, I have actually put a 360 camera on there, and it works quite perfectly with a 360 camera. Now, if you're going to put a 360 camera on that pole, you're going to need one of these. Now, this is a 3/4 inch thread to GoPro style mount. Now you can pick up these from Amazon for around about, if it's in England, for around about £4. If you pay a bit more, you probably get 2 of them. If you go on eBay, you can pick them up as low as 99 pence, or if you're in the States, probably $1 or $1.50 off eBay. Now, this particular mount is not made out of metal, so you have to bear it in mind. They're made out of plastic. This bottom bit is plastic, that is plastic. The screw thread here is metal. So bear that in mind. If you're going to use this for action sports, it's best to try and find one which is made out of all metal. As I said, this one is metal and plastic, but you need one of these if you're going to mount a 360 camera. Now I've got my 360 camera on here, and that's how it looks when it's mounted. Now, another thing you have to be aware of if you're going to mount a 360 camera, unless it's the GoPro Max or the Insta 360 1R, if you got the GoPro Max or the Insta 360 1R, this doesn't apply to you at all. So what I'm going to say doesn't apply to you. But if you've got the 1X like this, or the 1, or any other 360 camera, you have to be aware of this screw here, this thumb screw. Now this will show up on your videos and pictures. It will show up because, as you can see, this thumb screw extends far out. Now Sandmarc do a smaller thumb screw, which is half the size of this one. Now I've seen them on eBay. They're around about £6, £6 to £8 for that thumb screw. They are third-party equivalents which are made out of plastic. You can get some metal ones, but it won't be this color. The metal ones are obviously half the price. They're around about £4 or £5, and the plastic ones you can get them as low as 99 pence. Now if you're in the States, I'd say probably $10 for this half the size one of this, and in metal from Sandmarc. Otherwise, from third-party companies, you are looking around about $6 from third-party companies for the half the size thumb screw as this in metal. Otherwise, if you're not fussed whether it's in metal, then you can get the plastic ones, which will be far less cheaper. But as I says, if you got the GoPro Max or the Insta 360 1R, you won't see this in there. You won't see this at all. But if you're using the 1X or the 1 or any other 360 camera, which is the body is as small as this or even smaller, be aware that this thumb screw will show up. Now, people may ask me, does the actual pole here shows up? Very minute. It is almost like a line, a very thin line. It all depends on if how the sunlight is hitting this particular mount, because it's silver. It all depends on that. I've tried it outside and it's dull in England and it's winter, not much light at all, and this shows up as a very thin line, very, very thin, and depending where you are, you don't even see it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. What you've got to worry about, you need a half size thumb screw. Now, as for the remote holder, now I haven't got a GoPro remote, nor a generic one neither, or third-party one. I haven't got one, so I'm just going to show you the holder on the pole itself without a remote, but just use your imagination a bit. Now this is the holder, and as you can see, it looks like this, and it is made out of plastic. Now it's a bit of a shame that they've made this out of plastic. They could have made this out of metal and plastic, if you know what I mean, by having actual holder itself in metal and just having the clip in plastic, but obviously it's probably to save on costs. And this just simply clips on the main body, which is the third part, like so. It just snaps on like that. Very simple and very easy. You clip there are a ridge in here on both sides here, that when you get your remote, and it will snap into that, no problem. And to release it, it has this little tab here, which you simply just slight pull, and that would take your remote out. So that's what the remote holder does. Now this is my 2p worth about the Sandmarc Metal Edition action pole. Now if you're a person that's into action sports such as skiing, mountain biking, rock climbing, diving out of an airplane, then cross-country runs, etc., and you're looking for a pole for your action camera, whether it's a GoPro one or a Yi one or any of them, this is a very good pole to have. I know the price is expensive and £50 is a lot of money just for a pole, but you have to bear it in mind. This pole can take a beating. It actually feels, when you buy it, the best thing to do is when you purchase this, you take it out of the box, straight away you know what I'm on about. It just feels solid. And there's not many things in life that feel solid. So this thing is really for you guys. It's absolutely built like a tank. It has a very good grip. Even when you're wearing thick gloves, because how the handle stays, it is even great with gloves on. The turning of the locking, I'd say locking joints or mounts here, brilliant, even with gloves on. You don't have to turn it much to lock it and unlock each stem into place, even with gloves. So bear that in mind. So that's great. I like the top part of this, how it is made out of metal. Brilliant, because this on any selfie stick or action pole is the part that is most likely to break if when dropped. This is most likely to snap because it has the thinnest parts on here at the top. These teeth are the thinnest parts. So they're most likely, if this was made out of plastic, will probably break here. The thumb screw, even that itself, as I said, you can pick them up between £6 to £8, probably even a bit more. If you go with Sandmarc itself, that's worth it alone because it's a metal thumb screw. It's lightweight, not ever so light, but it's lightweight. If this was a carbon fiber one, you probably wouldn't even notice the weight of it, but it is light. When fully extended, as you've seen for yourself, there is no bend in it. Even with the camera on there, when I had the camera on there, which is like almost like a counterweight, makes this top heavy, there is no bend in this pole. It is absolutely, I'll say it again, built really solid. Now, for a couple of negative points on there. The first negative point I would say is going to be the end part, because I know I'm going to get people asking me questions about this. There is no 1/4 inch thread at the bottom of this at all. It's the lanyard goes straight into the base of this pole. There is no 1/4 inch thread, so you cannot put no tripod legs on there. So that is a bit of a no-no on this. The lanyard, I would say, even though it's a £50 action pole, personally, I think the lanyard could have been a bit thicker and could have been made a little bit more better. I'm not saying it's weak and I'm not saying it's bad. It could have been a bit more thicker, especially for these people who are going to use it on action sports, this could have been a bit thicker. And this part here, which is the adjustment, I personally think that should have been made out of metal rather than plastic, but that's me. Another negative thing I would say is the remote holder here. Because the whole thing is made out of metal, they could have made the remote holder, even metal itself, just with a rubber insert here to protect the pole so the pole doesn't scratch up when you're taking it off and putting it on. So they could have made the holder out of aluminium itself, but my guess is to keep the costs down, they just made it out of plastic. But even if you break this, you can get replacement ones from Sandmarc themselves and third-party ones, and they're not that expensive to buy. So that is the only, I would say, the only negatives I have about this. Yes, it is waterproof, because I know I'm going to be asked that. It is waterproof, but this does not float in water. It will sink. The waterproof ability means you can extend this out in the wet weather and still get a good grip on there, and the wet weather wouldn't affect the actual locking of this at all. Now, if you've got this pole, please leave a comment down in the comment section what you think about it, because your comments and your thoughts may be different about this pole, may be different than mine. So please leave a comment down in the comment section to let other people know. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, leave a thumbs down. I understand it's a bit of a long video, but I like to go into detail. Anyway, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.